Hey there, Chem 1030 students. We are beginning week 4, and I'm here to walk you through the things that you're going to be doing for lecture. Remember that Professor Molish is going to walk you through the things that you're doing for lab. I am on our eLearn site. I've already clicked into content. Just a hint, it's probably going to go where you were last, and then you can kind of go from there. As I look over here on the left, I can always go to the course schedule and see what's happening this week. So we're in week 4. In lecture, we're doing the week 4 module. In lab, you're doing the week 4 module, and we'll see those in content. You've got some lab that is due at the end of your lab, including taking a polyatomic ion memorization quiz. You learned about that in lecture, but you are taking that quiz in lab, so just be ready for that. Saturday is when all of your lecture material is due. Sunday is when your pre-lab for next week is due. Professor Molish will talk more about your lab stuff. But I'm going to focus on Chapter 4, which is where we are in Pearson in your textbook. Some of the things we did in Chapter 3 we're going to need to use as we move forward. So you do want to be aware that you may have to go back and review, and that's expected. You're going to have to go back and review occasionally. So you can just click back here. We finished the first 3 weeks. We're finished with Module 1, or you're finishing it up this weekend, and we're ready to move on to Module 2, which is Chapters 4, 5, and 6, and it includes stoichiometry. And so I'm going to click on this. It opens up Friday morning, so you're watching this after Friday morning. As I look down here on the left below where we're clicked, there is a module overview for the entire module, this group of chapters that we're watching. And then I'm going to click, and you should read it. I'm going to click on week 4, which is where we are. So there are sub-modules within the week 4 module. There's an overview where you're seeing this video, and again, a descriptive overview here. There's the lecture material, which includes your memorization quiz, your pre-lecture assignment, your guided lecture notes, slides, and videos, your post-lecture assignment, and your post-lecture adaptive follow-up assignment. Just normal this week. The only difference or the only new thing is this memorization quiz. Here is your lab folder, and again, Professor Molish will tell you a little bit more about that. So I see the same thing here. These 3, week 4 overview, lecture, and lab. These are these submodules here, overview, lecture, and lab. So I'm going to click on the lecture, which also has submodules, and I'll see them pop into view. Chapter 4 is an introduction to organic compounds. Again, we're using some of the things we talked about in Chapter 3 especially, so you may need to go back. Here is a memorization quiz from Chapter 3, the polyatomic ions. So here's where you're going to study for taking that quiz in lab this week. Here is our pre-lecture assignment. Here are our notes, slides, and videos, post-lecture adaptive. And each one of these opens up bigger. Over here on the left, this is a little shaded so I can see each one of these underneath it. So click on that to see the description for what's going on. All right, this is, be sure to have these memorized. There's a link to it before you show up for lab because that's when you're going to take the quiz. Let me come back. I'm clicking on lecture up here in the header. Again, this is the little grayed area, maybe hard to see on the video where I am. We just looked at the memorization quiz in detail. Now I'm going to look at the pre-lecture assignment in detail, and it's just a link for my Pearson assignment. Then I'm going to look at the guided lecture notes and slides in detail. And there are the lecture notes. There's a couple of handouts. One's a Word document, one's a PDF. There are a PowerPoint slide, and then there's a subfolder with our videos. And if I open this up bigger, and I have to do it over here on the left, there's our Chapter 4 lecture videos. I get a little bit more information about each of those videos. So if I need to come back and review, I can use these descriptions to help me see which one do I need to go look at. I'm going to be adding times to these. I didn't do it already. I'm sorry before the video, but by the time you get to it, hopefully you'll see the times to these. So that just kind of gives you a heads up about how long that video is going to take. And you do know that you can watch it faster if you can comprehend what's going on, and so it may not take that much time. So you're working on chapter 4 for me this week, and it is due Saturday evening. Now, I'm traveling this weekend as you're finishing up chapter 3, so I can't meet with you, and I told a couple of you in emails, but I will be watching the discussion board. Next week, I'll be traveling on Friday, so I can't meet with you, but I will be able to meet with you on Saturday of next week. If you need to set up a time for us to get together, you can. If that's difficult because of schedules, either on your part or my part, please know that you can always email me or post a question on the discussion board. Our discussion board is up here on the top under communication, discussions, and it's this top one. And so I do watch that pretty closely through the weekend on weekends, and I'll jump in and help answer questions. If you need to post a question on this discussion board, please put in the subject line what assignment it is, what chapter, which specific assignment, if it's the pre-lecture or the post-lecture, or if it's the memorization quiz or whatever, because that just helps me find it quicker. And then in the text of your question, go ahead and copy and paste from Pearson if it's a Pearson question. For example, go ahead and copy and paste that whole question from Pearson, or you can take a screenshot of it or whatever before you ask your question, and that just makes it much quicker for me to respond. I can respond a whole lot quicker if you've already got the question there. If I have to go find the question, I have to have a long enough time that I can go do that before I can actually answer your question. So go ahead and paste the question on the discussion message if you post on here, and that will help me out a lot. And it's all about me. It's not about you. It's all about me. So I would appreciate you doing that. All right, guys, have a good week, and hope to see you soon.